So I'll just start by kind of giving a high level update of a number of different things that we're working on with the county and also with obviously that Firewise is working on. So we have a standing meeting with Dave Shue, fire administrator, and JR weekly, where there's a range of different things that we are actively coordinating with them. They have within their portfolio a whole bunch of other stuff that has to do with reorganizing and changing some policies around the Napa County Fire volunteer firefighters, and so there's a whole program that they're rolling out along with Cal Fire here in the coming weeks. But more broadly, we are working with them in preparation for the BRIC grant. We're working on a joint application with the county to pursue some funds to help develop a more integrated technology platform. So the countywide CWPP is due for an update in about a year. We would need to start the process in a year. And so we're pursuing some funds through a source called OPR, the Office of Planning and Research. And in doing so, we want to make sure that we work to update the CWPP, but also within the context of other climate-related resilience efforts. And part of that exercise will be all the normal things that happen with the CWPP update countywide, but we're also going to be looking at developing a set of use cases and requirements potentially to get some technology that allows us to do our project development in closer coordination with other agencies like RCD, NRCS, the Land Trust, Napa County, Cal Fire, et cetera, so that we're making good decisions about the work that we do in the context of what work other agencies are doing around climate resilience. That's one project that we're working on. We were out in Reno this last week at the WUI conference, and we worked closely with Dave. He was at Dave Shue. He was out there as well, and we met with him and with some of these some technology providers that are providing those kinds of solutions. So we had some good sessions that we participated in and learned quite a bit while we were out there. Other elements that we're working with the county on are just prepping for the 2024-25 budget process, and we've kind of gone through the project list that's in the last part of the 5-year plan and looked at projects that are in need of maintenance, projects that are sort of distributed around the county, and we've kind of provided the county with a view of what projects might be prioritized based on different sort of budget numbers. Nothing's been determined. They're taking that and sort of digesting that information. We're sort of iterating with them so that as we prepare for the budget cycle that will be formalized in May, that we have a kind of macro level of alignment about the dollars that we need and things like that. Looks like we're looking at your system, Sherry.
With that, sorry about that.
No problem.
Worried.
There's a whole range of other stuff, obviously, that we're working on with the county as well, but those are some of the highlights. Does anybody have any questions before we jump into stuff that Firewise is working on that I might be able to answer as it relates to Napa County Fire, Cal Fire? Oh, we got a rain day coming up, so if you're got your burn permits and you take advantage of another rainy day and a wet couple days to knock out the balance of your burn piles. If you have burn piles, Mike's going to do a highlight a little bit later on to talk about all the burning that Firewise has been doing with Cal Fire and Napa County Fire. But if you have piles to burn, we got another stretch of wet weather here on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And burning burn piles on the weekends is a lot of fun. No questions about Napa County Fire, Cal Fire? Okay.
One thing I'd like to add in, Joe, is
go ahead.
It's been a bit of a reorg where, JC was normally our one point of contact for County Cal Fire. now he's got a bunch of great partners, and so we're actually getting a lot more input and assistance and guidance from individual battalion chiefs. So JC has the Napa battalion, so kind of that central part, American Canyon up to maybe Rutherford and out to the Sonoma County line, and then up to about Circle Oaks, and he shares that with Ryan Isham, and you got Rob Wetstein, who I was just on the phone with right before this call. He says to say hi to everybody. He's going to free up to be a heck of a lot more available soon. And so, yeah, it's really been neat to, to get more, different perspectives from our individual battalion chiefs and get them more involved at the Fire Safe Council level. So that'll happen more and more, but it's already started this last 6 months. Just wanted to add that in.
Yeah,
And
we have
always
more
there,
points of contact, which means we've got greater focus in the different battalion areas and really good partners that we can work with. And Mike will talk a little when he digs into the projects. He'll be able to talk a little bit about how we're really doing some great partnership work with Napa County Fire, Cal Fire to help us with burning and all kinds of stuff. I'll run through a handful of Firewise updates. Let's start with grants. We just got through submitting a round of grants to PG&E and a grant that we submitted to. It's an earmark grant, the CDS, the Congressional Directed Spending. Those projects are sort of, the PG&E grants are smaller, but they include a handful of fuel reduction projects. And then we also got approval from PG&E to request funds to, for the first time, if we're successful, to buy a couple of dip tank containers that would allow us to place water in some strategic locations around the county for wildfire response. So this is kind of a new area. We have pursued some funds in the past from PG&E to secure beacon boxes, which we are going to be working on placing. We'll work with Brandon Minelli and Napa County Fire on where we're going to place those beacon boxes. We pursued some funds to buy some LED signs that we can use to highlight work that we're doing in the area or evacuation routes. We've paid for those signs. The county paid for that. So this next thing that we're looking at are these dip tanks. They hold like 5,000 gallons of water, 6,000 gallons of water, and so if we're successful securing those, we'll be placing those in a couple places around the county, and in theory, we could move them if we want to. So that's kind of a first there if we're successful getting it. There's some earmarks, congressionally directed spending money that we pursued under Padilla and LaFonza Butler. And Mike will talk a little bit about what those projects are when he gets to his section. I mentioned earlier that we're chasing some money to update the countywide CWPP and to pursue some technology so that we're better integrated with other folks that are doing wildfire and climate resilience project work. That's through OPR. So we submitted the first phase of that application. We're submitting the second phase in May. We have CAL FIRE grants that are outstanding. We've got a bunch of stuff that we've applied for that we're sort of in a holding pattern, waiting on notifications about. So we're active out there chasing various grant funds. We did receive a notification, some of you might have seen it in the Napa Valley Register, that a Representative Thompson, Mike Thompson, has a CDS congressionally directed spending thing that we applied for last year, and we were awarded those funds. Those funds are to do fuel reduction up in Deer Park around Glass Mountain on hospital property and around the Lake Hennessy water treatment facility. So we were notified that we are eligible for the award. We have to go through another application process. They did not award us the full amount of funds that we asked, so we may need to modify the scope of the project or balance it with some different match to do the full scope of the project. But we did get notified about that, which is exciting. Great example of us working with the vintners working with, because the Vintner lobbyist helped us to put that together, working with Representative Thompson's office, working with the county, working with OES to turn around that application a year ago, and thrilled to get the notification that we're going to be eligible for that. There's a county match component to it, so we're sort of actively working with OES and Dave Shue and JR on that piece. That's kind of some highlights on grants that we've applied for and grants that we are that we were awarded. We're getting underway on a big forest health grant that protects the Veterans Home and the Enchanted Hills Lighthouse for the Blind. That's underway now, which is great. And let's see, we're hiring on the capacity side. We're looking for individuals to help with wildfire preparedness here at Napa Firewise. We're looking for an individual to help with marketing. We're making some investments in our grants analyst tracking roles so that we can have sort of more bench depth to help us track all the grants that we receive and work more closely with the county on the reporting that they're looking to us for. So we're doing some capacity expansion there. And those are probably, kind of high level, some efforts, things that we're chasing down and working on. And then Sherry, as you may know, is not feeling so great. So I'm going to cover an element of her topic tonight, which is we met with all of the fire safe councils at the end of last year and in January. And you're going to see us reaching back out to do another meeting with everybody kind of in April, May, so that we can kind of just check our progress on different projects that we're chasing and your priorities, and to make sure that there's some new program stuff that we want to roll out. So as we indicated to you when we met at the end of last year and at the beginning of the year, we want to make sure that we have at least a quarterly meeting with all the fire safe councils where we're sitting down and talking about helping you to get projects done, letting you know where we're including your projects in the grant strategy that we're chasing, and just to make sure that we're kind of meeting your expectations and vice versa. Hopefully some of you participated in the fire resource fair that happened. I know some of you were there. It was a great success, good opportunity, much more successful than last year's event. We're doing kind of an after action review with the grape growers on that so that we can make sure that we do the right outreach and follow up on opportunities. Firewise learned about some new vendors, which is great. And, we're always trying to build out our stable of providers so that we're out there making sure we get the best competitive rates and the right quality of work for all the projects that we're chasing. So that fire resources fair was fantastic. There's another one that's coming up that's part of Silverado Fire Safe Council. So be on the lookout for that later this month. I think it's later this month. Getting confused. There's a bunch of these things.
Yes, it is coming up on May 18th, I believe,
18th.
Saturday, May 18th.
Next Saturday. Or no, pardon me, not next Saturday, May 18th.
May.
Yeah. So about 5 weeks out.
Next Saturday, but in a month. Yeah.
In a month. So those are a bunch of Firewise updates. We can pause, and anybody have questions that you want to field for Firewise? Let me look at the chat feature here quickly.
Hey, Joe, just a quick question relative to your round
Yeah,
robin
Joe.
on the fire safe councils. Are you do you have a schedule that you're going to go around, or do you want us to kind of let you know at the meetings? How do you want to go about that?
Yeah, so our objective, like last time, is ideally we're meeting with, if you already have a normal scheduled meeting, we'd like to dial into that meeting. We want to be mindful about not creating more meetings. So if you have an existing standing meeting, then we'd love to align with that. If there's not a standing meeting, then we want to kind of work around schedule, either in your neck of the woods or at our office in Napa Valley Community Foundation.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
It does. Yep.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
On that note, if you all do have meetings where you'd like to invite us to attend your meeting instead, please just shoot me an email and I'll get it on the calendar. And otherwise, I'll be pestering you and trying to find a time that works.
Will do.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sherry.
Mhm.
Another item that's coming up, we will, we hope you guys will promote this. If you haven't already seen it, we're sponsoring an event in conjunction with Recover California. This is a program that Evan Kilkus out at Barrios Highlands tuned us into, and we've had a number of meetings with the folks from Recover California. They have some dollars for, and in theory, some people who are income qualified, could get up to 500,000 to rebuild a home, but there's money there for defensible space, money there for structure hardening. It's kind of a means-based program. We're going to help promote it and do an event at the Napa Valley Community Foundation on Saturday, not this coming, I think it's the Saturday after next. Sherry, do you have that date?
27th.
27th. There it is. So if you haven't seen this information, this is the event we're going to be doing with them. When we are promoting this to folks, we want to do some sort of supplemental promotion of our cost share program. Right now, our $3,500 cost share program for defensible space that we're managing, we have a pretty full pipeline. We might like some additional folks at the top of the funnel, so we may be looking for some additional applicants. For the most part, we're just trying to move people through our pipeline, but we'll probably do a little bit of promoting of our program at that event too. And then we want to continue to sort of keep an eye on this, help promote this program through Recover California, so that we can kind of learn from it, the county can learn from it, and maybe utilize some of the lessons learned from our programs that we've done, this program, to help inform how we handle the FEMA BRIC grant that has cost share money for structure hardening and defensible space.
And
So,
Joe, if I can add, or do you mind?
Oh, no, go ahead, Evan. Glad you're on.
Cool.
I didn't see that you're on.
Yeah, I was staying hidden back here, so you can't see my dirty kitchen. But I do want to make sure all the Fire Safe Council representatives know, like for the Recover California program, like Joe said, it's your eligibility is based on income. So if we as Fire Safe Council representatives can help find our neighbors that would be most eligible for this program, like especially if they're retirees or lower income people. A 4-person household, as this page here is showing, is under $106,000 a year annual income. If we can help find these people and steer them to this meeting, that's kind of the only way that this program will work, because the program doesn't have much outreach and marketing other than relying on us Fire Safe Councils in the 11 or 9 counties that the program's eligible in. Again, I don't want to elaborate too much on the program because I think you've heard about this already, most of you. Go to the last leads meeting, the tape for that, and you can hear more about it. It's really important that we help try to find our neighbors that would be eligible for this, and bring them to that meeting, or tell them to go to the meeting, or just tell them to go to the website and start signing up. It takes a lot of paperwork. It does require homeowners to upload their entire tax forms, and it could be like their entire deed for their trust documents. It can be a tremendous amount of uploading, which feels and is somewhat invasive, is the response I'm getting from some of my neighbors. But I am still able to work with the neighbors and walk them through it and get them through it. And hopefully they will get up to $50,000 in free home hardening. It is somewhat of an experiment, it seems like, but it seems like it's worth a try. So just wanted to make sure everyone understands that it's up to us on this meeting to really get it out there to our neighbors.
Yeah, thanks, Evan. And just really quickly, this meeting on the 27th, it's a Saturday, and the idea is that people who think they'll be eligible or are eligible can bring their paperwork in and be hand-held through the process by Recover California folks. They're going to have some staffers on site, and it'll be a really easy relatively painless way to get through the application. But you're right, we have got to get people there, and that's the trick. So finding the people who can really benefit from this program, I'm sure there are plenty of people who can, and it's such a great opportunity. And they also did offer to do another intake program similar to the one in Napa, somewhere else if we'd like to have one in Calistoga or up in Angwin or Pope Valley or somewhere else. That they're willing to come back out again.
Great.
And they will have.
Brandon,
program,
oh,
Joe,
sorry, Brandon had a question, then I'll go to you, Joanne.
Thank you. Does this include, is this just for single family homes, or would this include like a small group of mobile homes?
I'll answer that, Joe, if
Yeah,
I may.
please.
It does include for the $50,000 retrofit program. Mobile home owners in a mobile home park are eligible. Typically, otherwise the wording is single family homes on privately owned lots is the generic way that they're marketing it, but they also did clarify that if you live in a mobile home park, you are eligible for the $50,000 program.
All right, thank you.
Joanne, go ahead.
Does
Thanks,
this
Brandon.
program require a upfront
No.
payment to be out of pocket like some of the other ones do?
Oh, is it a reimbursement one?
Right.
Evan,
No.
do you know the answer to that? I don't think it does.
This is a program, sorry, this is a program where they will, if you are enrolled, you meet all the criteria, you get enrolled, you get assigned a caseworker, and then they work through the different, I guess, types of projects you can do for your property, and they bring in their own contractor. So you don't pay for any of it. Is that right, Evan? That's your understanding too?
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I technically I missed the question. I was being I had a neighbor knock on the door.
Her question was, is it a reimbursement program? Does it require the homeowner to spend the money to get the money, or is it,
No,
sounds like it's not.
Yeah, they pay it all up. They come out and do the evaluation with you, and then you agree with them on what mitigation steps you want them to take based on the list that they give you. They do prioritize it in 3 tiers, so you have to have everything in tier 1 done before you can jump to tier 2. Tier 1 is mostly defensible space and pea gravel on the ground and easy stuff. If you have all that done, then it jumps to tier 2, which is going to be siding, enclosing your eaves, and concrete siding, enclosing the eaves, and a new roof. So if you are eligible for those things, you get to choose which ones you want to do, and then they, like Joe said, they bring out they hire the contractors, and their project manager works with you to get it done, do all the permits, no out-of-pocket expense.
Great.
Great.
And Lauren from the Angwin Fire Safe Council has got some familiarity with the program. She's offering that if you have questions, she's willing to share her experience. So feel free to reach out to her if you have specific questions or want to talk to somebody who's sort of, going through the process.
And at the intake event, by the way, there will be somebody that speaks Spanish that will be able to help people. And there is a flyer that they made that's a Spanish version of this flyer. Maybe Sherry can send both of those flyers out to all the fire safe councils. So do tell all your neighbors that could be eligible.
Yeah, Sherry, I'd like to promote that as well. Move it forward.
You got it. I'll send it to everyone on the list, along with the rest of the info from this meeting.
Cool.
Okay, cool.
Thanks,
I'll
everyone.
cover a couple other items. Hopefully people saw the dashboard and got the notice about the dashboard sitting here behind me on my backdrop. Make sure that you promote that to folks if they're interested in learning about, want a visual representation of the projects that we're doing out there. Other item that I would mention is I had lunch today with county CEO, and they, he put out a nice video, sort of the state of the state annual report video has a nice mention of the relationship Napa Firewise has with the county and all the work that we're doing around wildfire resilience. So we got a nice honorable call out there. We're with the fire administrator and the new CEO, we're building a great relationship with the county on all the work that we're trying to do. Any other highlights, Sherry, that I'm missing? Okay, cool. Any questions
I
for
think
Firewise?
that's what I had.
All right, I see no hands raised, so we'll jump into some project updates from Mike Wilson.
All righty. Good to see everybody's faces and names here. And let me do a little share of the map. Actually, I'll start with the website and go from there. You guys see that Firewise splashboard? Yeah, okay. So like Joe said, well, first of all, under the fuels reduction projects up here, that's the quickest way to get to the landowner outreach, landowner agreement page to fill that out. And that's, as you guys know, one of the biggest things that I rely on the Fire Safe Councils for is your local connections, your ability to help us get to our landowners and get them on board and signed up. So just wanted to re-mention that. That's the best way to get there. You can either get a PDF or you can go through the DocuSign. And board that I'll brief from tonight for the first time. I'm normally working within GIS, so let me walk through this with you guys. It really is a handy tool for you guys to show, landowners what's going on, for you to look at your fire safe councils. I'm still seeing a few little quirks, so if you guys see quirks, please email myself or Emily guide us, but just shoot an email to me and we'll look into it. But just tonight I'll stick with just pointing around the map here a little bit. So with projects, we are hot and heavy into Napa Valley Ventnor sponsored projects. As you guys might remember, we got a chunk of change from the Napa Valley Ventnors, Napa Valley Collective through the Ventnors. And that was to try to reestablish those strategic dozer lines and limited access roads of up to 100 miles. Was our goal. We had about 140 miles identified, with over 400 miles of these things throughout the county. But as we narrowed those down, and within the first 8 months of a 2-year grant, we were already out to 68 miles, reestablished, and so that was great. In fact, so good that the Ventnors said, okay, you guys got this. What do you need? So working with JC Greenberg and our operator and just thinking about this and our project leads, they were able to fund a second dozer for us, which we just took delivery, and right now we're working the St. Grade to Pope Valley Road. It's 4 miles worth of reestablishing a very effective dozer line that was put in the 2020 fires. So using mastication mainly. We didn't have a blade out all through the winter until now that we're back into April. We're able to touch things up and groom it a little bit. But that's mostly all masticated with our existing CAL FIRE funded small dozer masticator. Plus we're able to borrow other masticators that were bought during that same grant round. So we got the Sonoma Land Trust masticator over here now for the second time. We used it up on the border project and now over here. So this is a great project. Hopefully, I was talking to Sherry. We'll set up some a field trip out here, and then possibly over Oakville Ridge Road and such. But anyway, that's the from here we're going to move with that funding. We'll move up north to Calistoga Fire Safe Council's Jericho Canyon, kind of up here between 8th grade and not 8th grade, but Highway 129 and Old Lolly Toll Road. We'll be able to connect, points off of Old Lolly Toll back over to the Highway 29, back up here to Old Lolly, and take advantage of a PG&E transmission line and make sure that's already got some good fuel work under it. So that's where we'll be moving, and then over to the top of, I call it Cordham Canyon Ridge, kind of coming from the top of Diamond Mountain Road and working across and on over towards Petrified Forest Road. And then we'll move back down probably into the Gordon Valley Fire Safe Council to open up some stuff in Kenzo. That's where I just was today. That kind of lapse between Gordon Valley Fire Safe and Wild Horse Valley. Coombsville Wild Horse Fire Safe Council. That's kind of 7 miles of opening up access roads in there that span those two fire safe councils. So that's Napa Valley Ventnor, the new dozer. I'll talk about burn pile locations towards the end. The roads, Napa County roads that we're working through right now is Glass Mountain Roads actively being done right now. It's worth your while to take a peek at that if you're in the area. We're planning out Sanitarium and White Cottage roads, Soda Canyon and Atlas Peak, Upper Atlas Peak, because we did the first 2/3 of Atlas Peak last year, but got held up by some county road work that was going on at the top. So those 2 roads will happen, the length of Soda Canyon and Upper Atlas. Within the next couple months. And then there's a bunch more roads I can report on later. Don't want to take up too much time. Other areas of work have been up on Bald Mountain, which is one of those border projects that jets off, in and out of Sonoma County. It's part of our string of border projects. It's about, 26 miles now. So we're burning piles up there and such, and that's really turned into an excellent field break. Let's see, and just to stick with the border area, we do have one of those grants we just received is to piece this together between the top of Spring Mountain Road and Diamond Mountain Road, coming through the top of Bothay Park. That'll be a shaded field break that is funded that we'll start planning for, as well as up roadside work going up and over Mount St. Helena on Highway 29. So that's huge. And we're taking advantage of Langtree Road and Spring Mountain Road here, kind of on our border, and then getting back on. This is not funded yet through here. So we may have to look at maybe Napa Valley Ventnor funding up here or just keep chasing grants. We do have a huge chunk of that. It's a congressionally directed funding that we've now stretched all the way from Highway 12, which this is not going to need any work because it's all Hudson Vineyards and stuff and grasslands coming up. But as we get up in, this is going along the backside of Level Valley community, which is a Napa County community that you have to get through Sonoma County to get to. It'll run this ridge line, come all the way up to the Bald Mountain area, the top of Partrick Road, Redwood Road, continue all the way through here. Top of La Jolla Road, and run all the way to Trinity Road. So that's over 17 miles there and about 500 acres. We're taking advantage of a bunch of vineyards, so we can cut that down by 120 acres. So that's in the deep planning and environmental stages right now. Well, let's see, Oakville Ridge Road. That's another area where I hope we can do a little bit of a field trip, Fire Safe Council field trip. That's this piece right here. I'm just clicking the wrong side of the button. I'm thinking I'm in my GIS. So this is Oakville Grade Road. We're now able to get a fire engine to be able to drive all the way up this private Oakville Ridge Road, drop down across the ridge, and come down basically and have lunch at R&D Kitchen out Napa Nook Road. So that's part of this combination of those Napa Valley Ventnor funding, CAL FIRE grant fund went into there. We're able to run these spur ridges down. So that's another area that's got a lot of fire history, a lot of heavy fuels, and we're able to make a big dent late last year and into this year. I could go on forever here. The Betts home.
Let's Mike, let's also talk about how many piles we burned and just that
I'll do it.
coordination with CAL FIRE.
I got a special map for that from Jonathan. Yes.
Right.
I'm going to have a bunch of eucalyptus taken out from right behind a brand new long-term care facility they just built here, or building, and the Betts home housing here. So that's a small but very critical thing that's going to start here with that'll be in June, but it's all greased. The vendors checked out and we're good to go there. Like Joe said, PG&E grants were we have 3 fuel projects that we submitted for, one in Wild Horse, Coombsville Wild Horse Fire Safe Council, Shady Brook, Deer Park Fire Safe Council up around the hospital, Diamond Mountain Fire Safe Council, Tucker Acres, And then those two remote helicopter dip tanks that Joe mentioned. So yeah, with that, let me flip on over to the Napa Firewise burn locations story map, first ever seen by the public, produced by our Jonathan Nixa. This is using GIS, and I have to actually do a refresh because it's a pretty cool little rolling earth intro. So we have 15 locations that we've we use burn piles kind of.
We're still looking at the dashboard, just so
Oh,
you know,
okay.
Mike.
Well, that didn't go so well, did it? It's darn Zoom here. Let me stop share and start again, I guess, because I switched.
Brandon, you got a quick question before we move on to burn piles? Brandon
Yeah,
Manelli?
Mike, I want to clarify. Did you say the dip tanks will be near the veterans home?
No, the dip tanks, one would be, and they're subject to negotiation, but CAL FIRE was hoping for one up near the Angwin Airport, and we're hoping for one over in the Mayacamas range. These dip tanks are available to be purchased by private folks too. I think they're in about the $50,000 range, but there is a couple vendors, so we don't have to just rely on the Helo Pod, which is probably the most well-known one. So that is that's what that's as far as the helicopter dip tanks. But no, they're not totally set yet, Brandon. Okay.
Thank you.
Can I just ask a quick question on that too? How many gallons do they hold? Did you say about 5,000?
3,000 to 5,000. It depends on which ones you buy.
Thanks.
Okay. Hold on a sec. Here.
Could you show me how to do the motorcycle?
Yeah, we'll be right back. Okay, so let me try to share one last time. There we go. Okay. Sorry, there's a little
gremlin there is trying to whisper in your
and wants to
get your
steal
attention.
show. You bet. Gotta ride the motorcycle after this call. Okay, so we have 15 different project areas where we've done burning.
So we're still not seeing the image yet, Mike. We're looking at there we go. That's what I think.
That's the burn location?
Yeah, it shows 6
Napa Firewise burn locations?
it shows 6 like blue drop arrows.
Yeah, scroll down a little maybe. Yeah.
Yep.
There,
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
that looks good.
Looks beautiful.
This is pretty neat. This is it's GIS, one of the GIS tools that we're exploring. So Jonathan was able to produce this map. We can do it, for specific projects. It's just a good way to paint the picture. So with each one of these, you can pop around to the photos that belong to that. This is that ink grade dozer line that has got active burning on it. This is up in various estates over in Angwin. This was a prescribed burn association came together and did some pile burning up in the Pacific Union College. Coming down here, this is up on Oakville Ridge Road that I mentioned. CAL FIRE, Firewise. This actually a TerraTorch here that has a mixture of fuel that's able to make quick work of these piles. So yeah, it's been a heck of an active amount of burning, about 3,500 piles over 15 different locations. And like I was starting to say that, this is kind of our last resort for getting rid of our vegetation. We prefer mastication or chipping, but sometimes that's not feasible or economical. And just sometimes not feasible to get mechanical equipment too. So that's that. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to take them. If not, and also I should mention, we've also done some burning out here around Berryessa Pines, Berryessa Highlands, and Circle Oaks. So, all right, I'll unshare and take some questions or carry on here.
Any questions from folks about our projects or burn projects, anything like that?
I'm just excited to see that there's a, prescribed burn group doing something that's, Diamond Mountain is interested. I don't think we're ready yet, but we're interested in that as a concept. So need to see that there's somebody out there doing it.
Yeah.
We've had on Diamond Mountain amongst a multitude of property owners, probably about 200 pretty large burn piles this winter from our salvage logging project that's still underway, kind of wrapping up, but still underway. So that was a big burn winter up here on Diamond Mountain.
I also should say, and I see Pam, you had your hand up too, but I forgot to mention there'll be 2 broadcast burns coming up towards the end of at the end of this month in Pacific Union College Forest. So CAL FIRE is going to try to take care of 15 acres, and then on the 25th, it'll be a Forest Health grant sponsored, kind of Firewise, not managed, but Firewise sponsored prescribed fire that'll be about 28 acres. So starting to happen slowly. Go ahead, Pam.
Yeah, question about, just wanted to hear a little bit more detail about the Spring Mountain to Diamond Mountain break. I know quite a few of us on the call, it impacts our groups, so would love to hear that.
Yeah, Gretchen took us up to the top, up above Diamond Mountain. We were able to scout that side of it with Steve Burgess and I think Steve's on the call here. And so we do need to come in from that Pride Winery side, top of Diamond Mountain, and scout from that direction. We have a landowner who's kind of got a landlocked piece out there who was with us as well. I forget his name, Gretchen.
Yeah, Anthony Turner.
Yeah, he comes in from the Spring Mountain Road side. So yeah, we'll get with you. We'll get when we do need to do a bunch more scouting with state parks and ourselves, and then get moving through that the environmental work on that. There's not a lot of amount of landowners. There's only about 4 or 5, so we'll be easy in that regard. But one of them is the state park. So
right.
Which that's another project I didn't mention was as you know, we were able to clean along the history trail, the length of it. So that was a good success with state parks. But yeah, this prescribed fire stuff is coming along. The one thing I want to mention at this point is, we're starting to not dip our toe, but try to learn more about herbicide as a way to maintain shrub regrowth or bay tree regrowth. We have not employed that yet, but there is a local vendor who we're starting, we're just talking to and trying to learn from, and other vendors. This vendor is up out of Pope Valley and is working down for Big Sur State Park, Monterey. And he's working for the agencies doing invasive treatments. So he's really, really good to be working at that level of scrutiny. And he swears that he can safely treat, everybody. We always worry about organic vineyards and stuff like that. So it's just something that I wanted to bring up to this group. And see if you'd be interested in having this person come on just to present something to us and just be able to fire some questions off at them. Is there any no's to that?
Definitely want to hear more about it. It seems like one tool in the toolbox for very, very judicial use, but it seems like it can be done.
Okay. Any other thoughts on that?
Brandon's got a question, or he's giving you a high five. One of the two.
Well, it's both. I think I know who you're referring to, and we've had him up to the property that I work with up on the Hennessy Rector around our property. He's very conscious of vineyard, and he does a very, very good job. We're happy with his work.
Yeah, okay, that's
particularly with the bay laurel.
Oh boy. Okay. Because there's 3 reasonable ways to maintain, and that's prescribed fire, which we know how hard that is to actually get fire on the ground and in a broadcast fire. And grazing, everybody loves it. We're using a ton of it. We need to keep using more and more and more of that. But herbicide is another tool if it's used responsibly. So his name is Hendrik Smeding, I believe, and it's Artemis Habitat. So it's no secret. He'll be
The
coming.
fourth.
The
Yeah.
fourth?
Yeah,
Very
Hendrik Smeding the fourth.
The fourth. Oh, gotcha. So yeah, we've quizzed the heck out of him. He has treated for some landowners along Howe Mountain Road where we had put in a gob of money to do the initial cleaning on Howe Mountain Road. And there is no regrowth to speak of other than grass coming back. So
Yeah, he guarantees his work.
yeah. So hopefully we need more of those. A lot of our veg management vendors are big tree, roadside vendors like Signature and Atlas. All those they have pesticide applicator licenses. Our forester is very, who's doing our notice of exemptions and Cal VTPs. He's very comfortable with it, knows how to lead us through it. So we just don't want to get over our skis on this.
It might be interesting for Napa Firewise to write like a 1-page or a 2-page treatise describing the benefits and also describing, how it can be done safely, so that we would have something to use that was kind of a group vetted message about it, so that we could share that with different people who might be, alarmed about the idea.
Yeah, okay.
Just simple, just a 1-pager that really points out obviously the benefits are obvious, but how is it done in a way that's safe and doesn't get, into the water or spray on all the stuff you want it to spray on.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and I think having
pellets and stuff like that.
Have them come before a specific fire safe council or this group, I think is the next best step.
Yeah, maybe we ask him to write
Oh yeah, just to draft it.
and provide it to us, and we could then pass it on to our members.
Yeah, and then we can have our forester would be happy to vet something like that as well.
Yeah.
He's very knowledgeable, and he's very happy to do what he calls spot spraying, and he's very conscious of wind direction specifically, and season and weather, and growth patterns of specific plants and things like that. He's
I think he went to San Luis Obispo, Cal Poly as a viticulture major for at least a portion of his education.
Good.
Alrighty.
Richard Goss, you got your hand up.
Yeah, thank you. I just had a quick question about that application process. I'm not sure it's going to work. Joe, you know a little bit more about, I guess Mike, you'll see it too next week, about that watershed up there for the Vallejo Lakes up by our place. And I'm just wondering if that's something that he thinks he could work with, because needless to say, we have our fair share of issues up there. And any tool that we can throw in would be great. So I'd very much be in support of having this guy come and talk to us, or at least to put a presentation together, whatever it would take, either as a FSC or as the whole group. I think it'd make a lot of sense.
Copy that. Okay.
Steve Burgess just dropped his contact details in the chat there if people want to reach out and coordinate with him directly. And I think Gretchen, your comment about us, he probably has it already, but just getting like a sort of talking points or a fact, FAQ or something would probably be useful to share with folks as well.
Be very useful.
Cool. Any other questions for Mike? Okay, cool.
Thanks,
We
Mike.
have next topic would be May as Wildfire Awareness Month. So there's a number of, if your fire safe council is looking for a reason to have a pancake breakfast or a little fundraiser or some kind of a community gathering, May is a good month to do that. There will be sort of a general drumbeat of wildfire awareness communication going out from Cal Fire, Napa County Fire, Napa Firewise. So there'll be sort of a main line of communication and digital and marketing and stuff that'll be promoting. May is Wildfire Awareness Month. So if you're looking for an excuse to get folks together in your community, May is a good month to do it. And we'll certainly be promoting and doing things at the Firewise level along with our partners at some of the other agencies. Sherry, was there anything else on that you wanted to add?
No, there are a bunch of dates coming up in May, as has been mentioned in the chat a little bit too. So there's the Silverados having their Fire Safe Fair. There's going to be an event up in Angwin that Supervisor Cottrell is putting together. It's going to have fire safety as a component of it, but I think it's a more general emergency preparedness. Actually, it'll be either Angwin or Pope Valley. Details to follow soon. And then it's just a great opportunity to get together and do some work parties. I just wanted to give a shout out to Berryessa West Fire Safe Council, did their first ever community spring cleanup day. And that kind of an event, something that's kind of fun. It engages the community, gets people talking about anything from defensible space to, I don't know, cut out screens for covering up your fence on your house and pass them around the neighborhood. Or there are just lots of simple ideas for folks getting out and getting together and kind of putting a focus on wildfire preparedness for the rest of the fabulous summer season. And I also wanted to point this out. She really appreciated this little report that I pieced the different pieces together, but they did give us a little summary of their event, and that's super helpful. I'd love to put together a story map of the fire safe councils and some of the fun activities you've been up to, things that you're proud of and want to give a little focus to, and then we'll put that on the website for everyone to enjoy. So send your projects my way. And then I guess Diamond Mountain also has a community event that's coming up pretty soon, next weekend, I believe, on Sunday.
Sunday, I put it in the chat,
And
but it is on Sunday, April 14th, from 3 to 5 at the Tucker Farm Center. And some of you are already coming, but anybody is welcome to come. You don't need to RSVP or be invited, but we will have David Shue and our supervisor Ann Cottrell as our special speakers. And it's a social, so it's less of a lecture and more of a neighbors, getting together and talking about the issues. I think the fact that State Farm is announcing many, many, many insurance non-renewals, particularly in Calistoga and on Diamond Mountain, is going to end up being a big topic that might hijack some of the social event. But that's something we haven't talked about here, is the insurance announcements that have just come into the media, that State Farm is not renewing many of our policies.
Yeah, we have our Napa Firewise Corp Council, Chris Warner, is actively working with Supervisor Cottrell and others to try to influence some legislation around insurance. I mean, it's a super tricky issue that's impacting lots of people. We're developing, Firewise is sort of working to develop a strategy to identify areas or properties that have invested in kind of enhanced resilience, to see if we can get those as designated as kind of enhanced resilience sites that CAL FIRE would be interested in knowing about for fire containment, fire response, and that then might be something of interest to insurers. It's a complicated issue, no doubt, probably going to need to be solved by a lot of pulling ourselves up by bootstraps and doing work that is verifiable, that demonstrates that the place is safer, and then also kind of work at the legislative, insurance commissioner level. I mean, it's definitely a compounding issue that needs a comprehensive solution.
Sort of overwhelming.
Yeah. Let's see, we covered May, upcoming events, FSC updates on events. We clicked through a few of them. Are there any others that people want to share with folks? I know we're at the hour here. Joanne, you're on mute.
Sorry. I just want to give an early heads up about the annual Home Winemakers Classic for Mount Veeder Fire Safe Council. It's not until July 14th. It's on Sunday, July 14th. And I think this may be our 40th year. I mean, this is a wonderful event of the great long tradition. But I especially wanted to mention that if any of you are home winemakers, you're making wine in your garage, or you have friends who do that, now is the time to sign up. to participate and pour your wines at the event and or submit them for the formal judging. So all the information is on the website, our event website, homewinemakersclassic.com, or you can get to it through the Mount Veeder Fire Safe Council website as well. But it's really fun. And like I said, we're really looking now for more winemakers to register to pour their wines at the event.
And that fundraiser raises money for the Mount Veeder Neighbors in Need program. And that's either a cost share or a complete cost coverage program that helps people in the Mount Veeder area with defensible space costs. And 95% of those people are folks who have, you know, income limitations or are physically impaired or elderly or what have you. So that's what those funds go for. It's a fun event.
Real quick, good news from the Berryessa Highlands. Thanks to the hard work from the Berryessa Highlands Fire Safe Council members and Carol Rice, we unofficially got approval on our NFPA Firewise USA status as a Firewise community for the Berryessa Highlands. So we're hopefully going to have that certificate and fully approval before we have our May fire awareness event, which we're scheduling for a couple weeks, a few weeks into May on a Saturday. So we are going to have in the Berryessa Highlands a community fire awareness day where we're going to have a meeting and then hopefully a taco truck and then have a opportunity to present our CWPP to the community and let people talk about it with us at like a table kind of setting. So people can stick around for just the first couple hours and then have tacos and leave, or they can stay and contribute if they want to. So that's sort of our update. Joe, you had something to add, bond seller?
No, I think you covered it, Evan. Thank you very much for the update. We're really proud of the work and got a lot more to do. So thanks for touting it.
Yeah, thanks to NCFF for all the support.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Any other FSC updates? Piper and Camille, any updates you want to offer on defensible space cost share? Piper, were you able to get your phone unmuted?
Yes, I was, once I agreed to the recording.
Oh.
That was the issue. Yeah, we're working our way through the money that we have. We do have a pipeline, but we, as Joe said earlier, people can still apply, and we don't reserve funds until people actually submit an application, which is something they do after the evaluation occurs. So not all of the funds are reserved yet. So if there's anybody in your fire safe council who wants to apply, it's not means tested, but if your income is below a certain level, we will reimburse 100% up again to the same cap of $3,500. So it's a good program, and the evaluations and the reports that are generated from that are very useful. They're understandable, comprehensive, and actionable. And they cover not only defensible space, but even though the grant doesn't cover it, the report covers home hardening as well. So giving people a roadmap for what they can do on their own property.
Yeah, it's a great product. That evaluation report is a really great product. I'm super impressed with what the technology produces and the service folks that come out and do the inspections produce. It's really high quality.
And once again, us Fire Safe Council leads and community representatives, it's very helpful when we bring it to we find the people in our community that most benefit from the program and bring it to them. I've got about 8 people in the Berryessa Highlands neighborhood that took advantage of this program, and the community as a whole is much safer now that those 8 houses have $3,500 worth of defensible space work done. So yeah, thank you, Piper, for this great program.
And you get to work with Camille Clegg and Piper Cole. I mean, What more could you
How
ask
can you
for?
get any more fun than that?
Seriously, I mean, that's a dynamic duo right there. Well, team, if there isn't anything else to cover, we're, 4 minutes over the hour, we can wrap up, or if there's other stuff people want to discuss, we can discuss more.
I just wanted to say thank you to Sherry for the shout out for Barry SOS Fire Safe Council. We are super excited about our first event. Thank you, Jonathan, for coming out with your mad chainsaw skills and sort of showing us the ropes. We're learning about the value of before and after photos. So that's really important. So moving forward, we'll be able to document in a way that is beneficial for everyone. So thank you. All our hard work is starting to pay off, even though the ink is not dry on our CWPP, where the momentum, we're just going to keep it going.
Awesome. Great job out there at the lake. All right, team, anything else? We will release you to your evening. And thanks for all of your passion and commitment and work on wildfire resilience. So much more to do, but certainly feels fantastic to have every one of you as part of our large and comprehensive team that's out there doing the dirt work, making chips.
Thanks, everyone.
Happy burn piles this weekend. Safe burn piles.
That's right. Oh, April, I think the end of April, your CAL FIRE burn permit might expire. I got a notification about that, so you can renew it.
Yeah, good point. And Evan was out there burning with the Susquehanna Intertribal Council and took care of.
Yeah, we did do a bonus volunteer day and burnt about 70 piles on Saturday. So yeah, everyone keep working on their corners.
I'm gonna burn my last 10 burn piles this weekend.
Right. Well,
take care, everybody. Have a nice evening. Be safe out there.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Don't get sick.
Thanks.
Get better, Sherry. I hope you're feeling better.